Welcome to episode 4 of the Friends2Gether podcast. Friends2Gether is funded by the National Lottery.
Intergenerational project focusing on people aged 18 to 25, 55 and over to help improve their self-confidence, bringing people together to share information and improve employment prospects, I believe is the tagline.
Joining me today, as you just heard actually, Molly's back with us from her gallivanting. We didn't say where she went. We were very discreet about that, weren't we? So top class manoeuvres she was up to.
I don't mind you staying where I was.
Yeah.
You don't even, John doesn't even know where I was.
Skiing?
No.
No. Oh, she's
That's a subtle way of finding out, isn't
it? I was in Spain.
There you go.
Sunny Spain.
Sunny Spain, yes. Well, we were freezing our beep off over here, weren't we, Phil? There's a spoiler there. Phil's here as well. Hello, Phil.
Hello.
So today's podcast, I haven't told Phil this yet. Molly actually knows. But we are going to be discussing the top 10 places in Buckinghamshire everybody needs to visit.
Okay.
So we are going to be, this was actually a Bucks Free Press article here, and they make 10 suggestions of places you need to visit in Buckinghamshire. It's actually framed as a bucket list before you die, but that's very negative, isn't it? So we won't go down that route. It's a top 10 places in Bucks that you should visit with your free time. And I'm going to hit you with them, Phil and Molly, and get your feedback to see if you've ever been to these places and if you've got any memories or if you could tell any stories or any recollections of what they've got there, what it was like, and all that jazz. So I guess it'd be number 10 on the list, isn't it, if we're doing a countdown. So number 10 is Wadsden Manor. I've heard this mentioned many a time, but I've never been there myself. I drive past it quite a lot. I see it signposted, Wadsden Manor. It says, there's a little bit of blurb on the website, this stunning French Renaissance-style chateau was built in the late 19th century and is surrounded by beautiful gardens. Phil, have you ever been to Wadsden Manor?
Yes, Wadsden's one of the National Trust places in Bucks. We're very well served for them. It's certainly worth a visit. I think it might be the most popular of the National Trust places in the country. It's a massive house, massive grounds, all sorts of interesting knickknacks. They've got aviaries there.
Wow.
Well, some rare birds, there's some sort of, stopping them becoming extinct.
Yeah.
All sorts of strange outhouses. Nice walks around the edge of it as well. You soon get away from the crowds. And there's a strange building, which is an archive. It looks almost like a nuclear bunker. I don't quite know what it's meant to be doing, but in the ground, it's very well set up. They've got a big car park, and they run trolley buses, sort of things, out to the ground. Even though it's not that far, but I guess people might be disabled. Well worth a visit.
Yeah, it says here actually it houses an impressive collection of art and is managed by the National Trust.
Yes.
Explain to me what the National Trust does, Phil. I think you pay a membership, don't you? And you get, is it free access or discounted access?
Yes, the National Trust is what you invariably get given an annual pass to when you retire. It's you get a membership for free entry. The entry prices of the place are really high. I think they're trying to encourage people to get an annual membership. It's got a strange relationship to the English heritage. English heritage tend to do castles. Yeah. National Trust tend to do lived-in places.
Yeah. I never knew that. So they give you like a National Trust membership when you retire to there, a lot of places, or is it?
Oh, it's pretty common. It's going to be that or a set of golf clubs. Watson's good. They do some quite quirky stuff. That, for example, there's Jack Straw's house or something like that in Worksop. This was a family, the mother died sometime in the 1920s and they haven't changed the place since. So you see something which is like frozen in time. The only things they've changed is some of the tins started to bulge out, so they had to get rid of those. They thought they might explode, but other than that, so there's grand country homes, there's small that's sort of moderate sized one. They've got a row of sort of 2 up, 2 downs in Birmingham. So there's all sorts of things. It's well worth a visit,
I
really.
definitely want to go and have a look at that.
And they try hard now to make it a bit more interesting for children.
Yeah.
They hired teddy bears and things amongst the...
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
It sounds similar to the Chiltern Open Air Museum, the building that they've kept sort of untouched from the 1920s. They've got a lot of buildings there. It might be a spoiler. The Chiltern Open Air Museum might be on this list. You never know.
Chiltern Open Air Museum is well worth a visit. It's fantastic.
I took my nephews there last year. It's brilliant.
Did you
we went back again twice.
Prefab?
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it?
Prefab is fantastic.
Yeah. Yes, really, really good place to visit, Chiltern Open Air Museum. Hopefully it'll be on this list. Number 9.
Oh, wait, just a quick shout out to Waddesdon Manor.
So
yeah,
Molly's
I mean,
got
I've been
Waddesdon.
there a few times, mostly for the Christmas light trails, because they have
that's very good.
fantastic Christmas light trails there. So highly recommend. But also the Rothschild Foundation. And Rothschild fund quite a lot of the work
Yeah,
we
I do,
so
yes. Is it a Rothschild building?
It is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Waddesdon's a Rothschild.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
And they fund some of our work. So big shout out
Props
to the
to the
Rothschild
Rothschild,
Foundation.
yes. Props to the Rothschild.
The Rothschilds are an amazing family. Their shield is 5 arrows, which I must represent the 5 different branches of the Rothschild family. They started in Germany, but they've got big houses all over the place. They've
got a lot of links to Tring, haven't they?
Yeah.
I noticed the other day there's a football team in Tring called the Tring Zebras. And I said, that's a funny name for a football team, and apparently that's after the Rothschilds as well.
Yes, they used to ride zebras.
Zebra-drawn carriages that would carry them around. It has actually got quite a link to Tring, the zebras and the Rothschilds.
That's worth a look too.
That's what's the building, the estate as you go out towards Leighton Buzzard? That's one of their
almost
Ashridge estate. Yeah, the Ashridge estate. I'm sure that's one of their
incredibly.
You see all the deers and stuff rolling past.
Philanthropists as well. They do a lot, as I was saying, a lot of charitable stuff. Good for them.
We were lucky enough to have been joined by another guest. Sonia has now joined us. Say hello, Sonia.
Hello. Good morning.
We were just talking about Waddesdon Manor, and I think I've been saying it wrong. What is it, Waddesdon, or instead of Waddesdon Manor? So, Sonia, would you like to tell us about any memories or any recollections of your trips to Waddesdon or Waddesdon Manor?
I've been there. It's a delightful place. Really, really enjoyed it. And what I like about it is that you can see it's a home. It's unlike a lot of these other places you go to, like National Trust places. They tend to be like museum pieces, whereas I'm not getting ideas above my station or anything, but I could actually quite easily manage to live there. Do you know what I mean? It seems like a livable kind of a
You're going to buy it, are you?
Oh, if only.
Buy it and move in.
Oh, but God, can you imagine all the maintenance and stuff on something like that? It would do your head in.
Yeah, Phil was saying what large lands they've got there, and lots of buildings and outbuildings and stuff, like gardens and a birdery, an aviary.
Yes.
An aviary, a birdery.
A birdery. A birdery. But yes, I've been there on numerous occasions. One of our favourite things to do was when they had a section of it called the Bachelor's Wing that was open. Yeah.
Explain.
What's
the Bachelor's Wing?
I can't remember the exact history of how it came about or who was actually living there at the time, but I do remember it was one of the elderly female members of the family who used to live at Waddesdon Manor, but she used to enjoy the company of young men.
Matron!
And
where's this going?
But because it was frowned on in society, to have a lady of her age being visited by lots of men, she decided to have the Bachelor's Wing built. So that's basically where all these young men used to stay.
So it's like a precursor for the Playboy Mansion, isn't it? Really? Like,
I don't know.
Hugh Hefner used to keep all his playmates on the building, and then I don't think
it was intended for that.
No,
but you can imagine the kind of scandal that it kind of caused at the time.
Well, if anyone knew about it,
yeah. But it was just the Bachelor's Wing was particularly just an interesting.
Luxurious, was it?
Yeah, it was really
Did it have
nice.
like a grotto like the Playboy Mansion, like a swimming pool? And...
No.
Table.
Yes, it had all the things that young men would enjoy. Sort of just
When do I move in?
When I was there, they had a collection of smoking jackets as well.
Yes, that's right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That is literally like the Playboy Mansion, because Hugh Hefner was famed for wearing his smoking jacket everywhere.
Was he?
Yeah. He had like a velvet smoking jacket. Yeah. Unbelievable. It's like maybe that's where he got the idea from. Maybe he came over and you might be wondering, Sonia, why we're talking about Waddesdon or Waddesdon Manor. We're talking about the top 10 places you should visit in Buckinghamshire.
Oh, really?
According to the Bucks Free Press
okay.
website. And Waddesdon Manor is number 10 on the list.
Oh, okay.
So you're thinking, if that's number 10, what's number 9, aren't you?
Yes.
Aren't you all thinking that right now? I'm about to tell you.
we're dying to know.
All three of us have. Well, I haven't got really a story apart from I drive past it quite often.
For those interested, they've also got a really good garden centre there as well.
Have they really?
Yes. That down before you get. I think it's in the old dairy.
Okay.
So it's down in
yes.
It's on the way.
So what, they sell
before you actually
vegetables
get
and
there.
plants that they like that they grow on at Waddesdon Manor, or
I'm not sure that they
Manor?
probably do sell produce, but it's mainly that. Well, I don't think they could
Mass
supply
produce.
it. Yeah, they couldn't mass produce that kind.
There you go, Molly. So Molly
and
actually
things.
runs our weekly cooking group. So do you want to
okay.
give a little advert to that?
Oh, but before
Listening
everybody
millions?
goes rushing there with their shopping baskets, I would check.
Really?
Make sure they do food.
So-
I think they do. I haven't been for a long time.
Bit of fresh produce
certainly.
available. So Molly, if you'd
Yeah.
like to educate the listening millions about your cooking group,
Yeah.
which we run at Oasis.
Yeah, cooking group runs in Chesham, White Hill Centre, between 11 and 1 on a Thursday. 10-week course. You can sign up and find out more information on our website. It's all about cooking healthy and nutritious meals on a low budget. Completely free.
Everyone I've met who's been on that sings its praises.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even
same.
someone who said nothing else said that was fantastic.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, teaching them how to use commonly available fresh produce and stuff, and how to make good meals, healthy meals as well.
And I'll get John on it one day.
Yeah, so I've done one course. We made courgette muffins, didn't we?
Okay,
and
nice.
pancakes.
Yes,
Were they
because it was
pancakes, were
near
they?
Shrove Tuesday, which
That's
is actually
right.
coming up in the next couple of weeks.
But they were fancy pancakes. They weren't like
They were savoury pancakes.
savoury pancakes. That's the word I was looking for. Savoury. You saved me with your savoury. They were really nice. Yeah, we had lots of cheeses and herbs and spices and stuff in them, didn't we? And peppers and stuff. Yeah, it was really nice. Yeah, so I did 1 week of the 10, so I've got another 9 to do. Speaking of another 9 to do, boom, seamless link. Number 9 on the list, Bletchley Park. Known for its role in World War II code breaking, Bletchley Park is a fascinating historical site. Visitors can explore the museum, see the Enigma machine, and learn about the achievements of the code breakers.
Okay.
Have you been to Bletchley Park?
Never been, but watched the film. What's the film with Benedict Cumberbatch in?
yes.
Imitation Game? Or something?
Is it Enigma or no?
Is it called
The thing's called Enigma, isn't it?
Is it called The Imitation Game?
Imitation Game.
Yes,
Yes, that's
very
it.
good film. Never
Yeah.
been to Bletchley Park, but I'm very interested in all the code breaking, so I would be interested in
I
it.
watched the Ozzy Osbourne documentary, and he's obsessed with World War II stuff, and he goes there quite often because they live around here, don't they? He's always raving about Bletchley Park and how good it is, and the Enigma machine. Another place I always mean to go to, but I've never been. Sonia, have you ever been to
imagine that.
Bletchley Park?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Friends2Gether podcast trip to Bletchley Park, I think, is on
Bletchley Park is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. They've got a nice collection of computers, museum. And Helen went there, she was fascinated because it almost documented her career in computers. She got to the very oldest one. She said, we had one of those at the university. I did the computer science.
Oh, wow. Moved through the
actual description of the Enigma code, the breaking, how it worked, is quite intense, actually. You have to really listen to what the guy's saying. These movable wheels on the
yes,
what's the German machine called? Probably called the Enigma machine, wasn't it? Or Conrad or something. But it had wheels. So every time you it gave you a letter for all the wheels would turn around and reset it. So breaking that was fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a bit sad about his story, though, isn't it? That man.
Turing was an absolute genius. Really up there, sort of Einstein.
Very clever man.
Yeah. To some extent, we gave a lot of the technology away to the Americans because we thought probably better off them having it than the Germans at the time, the Second World War. But brilliant, absolutely fantastic.
Imagine that the Germans were beavering away, sending messages to each other, thinking that they were all these codes and stuff, and that we were working out. We knew what they were up to. That must have played a big part in us winning the war, to be honest.
And they said it saved
part.
years and lives.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, they broke the Japanese codes as well.
Did they really?
Which allowed them to sort of shoot down a lot of their hierarchy when they go on tours to the...
Oh, wow.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Extremely interesting.
And what's the film called, Molly?
The Imitation Game, I think it's called. Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Can't remember the man who broke the Enigma code. Does anyone know his name off the top of their head?
I get that there are a lot of people involved, yeah.
But the film features the one man who sort of...
Yeah, Turing.
Yes.
Is that his name?
I thought that's who we were talking about.
Yeah.
Turing,
Yeah.
Alan.
Alan
Turing.
Touring.
As in Touring.
Yeah.
I think it's
Alan-
Turing.
There we go.
Yes.
There we
Yes,
go. Molly's
pronounced the
checking it
same
on our
way.
information
Turing.
device as we speak, so we're
Alan
talking amongst
Turing,
ourselves.
Turing.
He
Yeah.
also devised the Turing test for. He said if you can get a computer to do this, then you know you're in the way that was. That if a computer was in a room and you just talked to it via a type machine, you convinced it was a human. That was the ultimate test, and the chatbots are now pretty well doing that. So.
Yeah. So what else have they got at this? Is it just all World War II stuff based around the code breaking machine,
So
or
they've
do
got
they
the,
host other stuff there as well?
The huts where the breaking was done. I mean, the conditions were pretty grim there.
Yeah.
And what they tried to do, they made so no one really knew what anyone else was doing. So you someone would do one bit of because they had to get the transmissions from Germany. They came in from other listening stations. A cyclist came, motorcyclist dispatch rider come
Pigeon.
Sorry?
Pigeon.
No,
Carrier
I think they were.
No,
and
they were shot down.
They would sort of go to the door. They'd be sort of travelling on the darkened roads for 300 or 400 miles, hand in their transcript. They wouldn't give them a cup of tea or anything. They just shoot them away.
Back away again. Yeah.
And then people would translate it, and
I guess time was of the essence.
Oh
wasn't
yes, they had to, because the codes changed every day. They had to break it within 24.
Can you imagine the fear that would go over you, like if you you broke a code and it was like announcing a major attack on something, but you'd received it after the attack was already happening. You could have potentially stopped it or something if you'd got it earlier. It must have been horrible.
That's sort of what happened to some extent with Pearl Harbor, but not with it.
Oh, they kind of knew, but too late, did they?
It's a long story. There's a good film on that. But basically, they were
Is it
reading
called
this
Pearl Harbor?
telegram saying, "Be careful, you may be attacked," as the harbour was being bombed.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Because they sent it by commercial mail rather than by expert submarine.
In the days when the pigeons were being shot down, I guess.
Yes. So you got an idea of the conditions people working under.
I definitely want to go and have a look at that then. Do they host other World War II related stuff as well, like nowadays? Or
they have conferences. They've had a conference recently about the dangers of artificial intelligence. Yeah, it's an interesting side.
Elon Musk said that, didn't he? What's the biggest threat to the world at the moment? They were saying, is it the Russians or the war in Israel and stuff? And he's like, no, artificial intelligence by far. And they're like, you're going to terrify everyone, aren't you? He's like,
Elon Musk or not?
Wow, he's a clever guy, isn't he? He's building rockets, Molly. He must know what he's up to. Have you ever built a rocket, Phil?
No. I did do one of the early. I did do one of the early experiments in electricity, though.
Go on.
I told you that story.
No.
Oh, go on.
Did you stick your finger in a?
Pretty well. In my bedroom where I was brought up, there was fascinating me a light socket which was no longer used, the old bulbs.
Yeah.
And it just had the. I thought, that's interesting, isn't it? I wonder what would happen if I stick this pen, this metal pen into it. I just had the lid. I thought, I can't quite reach. All right, I'll get a pencil and stick it on top of that. And that pencil saved my life, really. I turned it on. It shorted the whole house. This flash went. My parents were too busy laughing to tell me off.
Is that where you got your curls from? Is that how Sonia got her curls from?
Straight as a dime before that.
Oh, what blimey. Was this before your blossoming recorder career or after it?
No. That was when all my... I was in remedial classes after that because I fried my brain, probably.
Yeah, you didn't hear all this last week, Molly. So Phil got caught cheating at his French exam. The recorder was involved, French was involved. There's lots of incidences. You'll have to listen to it for context. Mm-hmm. Number 8 on the list, unless anyone's got anything to add on Bletchley Park.
Well worth the visit.
Definitely, I want to go there.
Yeah, me too.
Two out of 2, I definitely want to visit these.
Definitely.
Well, this one I have been to. Mm-hmm. Number 8 on the list is the Chiltern Hills, where we're actually recording this podcast at the moment. So isn't that a coincidence? A designated area of outstanding natural beauty, the Chiltern Hills offers picturesque landscapes, walking trails and charming villages. Is Chesham still a village? I guess it's a town now, isn't it?
Town, it's definitely a town. I feel like this would be a good moment for a shout out to the walking group, Phil.
Yeah, absolutely. The walking group on Friday, which explores the Chiltern Hills, doesn't it, Phil?
Beyond measure in having the Chilterns around us. It's so wonderful because, I mean, there's reasonable sized villages, small towns, but you wouldn't know it just by walking around. You know, we go up by the wishing tree, you think you're in the middle of nowhere.
We mentioned that the other day, didn't we? We said we could be in the middle of nowhere. We couldn't see anything, could we? We were in the valley and it was like you were in the middle of nowhere.
That's a lovely photo you've got of that, looking out of the wishing tree into the valley.
And the big crow. I thought it was a crow. I thought it was a crow,
the
but
famous,
there was a dog.
Crow.
There was a dog running around in this field, and I said it looked like a crow flying down. And it was actually a dog, wasn't it? Running around in the field, massive crow. That I wonder what the borders are for what they classify as the Chiltern Hills.
Imagine it'll end at the scarp face, you know, at Wendover.
Yeah, okay, as far as that, yeah.
Well, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a chalk. You know, you remember your geography?
So you've got
the steep slope with the escarpment at Wendover and places like that, and then it gradually rolls back from it, slowly going downhill. That's where the chalk streams emanate from. So you've got Misbourne, that one, you've got our one, Chess.
I was going to say, even around this area where I went to school was not in Chesham or even in Buckinghamshire, but we still came to geography field trips to the River Chess. Almost every school I know
Well, the Chess is a lovely river.
Studies the River Chess because it's a chalk stream and it's really interesting.
Very rare, yeah.
Isn't there something cut out of the chalk hills as well? Is that like a creature or something? Isn't there somewhere?
Well, there's a line at Whipsnade.
Is that maybe that's what
there
I'm
is
thinking
a line
of?
at Whipsnade, but they do that. They paint that.
Okay, it's not cut out of the chalk.
Oh, it's painted on, is it?
Yeah, I have people that I know who helped volunteer to put the line back on because it was fading and they just were painting it.
Oh no, how dare they.
There you go, ruined the illusion.
There's various things. There's the white leaf, there's a cross, a white leaf.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of bits and pieces.
Do you remember first encountering the Chiltern Hills, Sonia, when you first moved down from London? What remember you think? Any initial thoughts of the area you'd moved to?
I actually remember the day when I actually came to view the house because my husband was working in London and I drove out myself and I came off the A40.
Yeah.
And actually had a bad experience because I came off the slip road, down the slip road, and
fell off your motorbike.
No, my brake wasn't working.
Oh Lord!
And realised the mat on the floor had got stuck underneath.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I just had to get my foot under it and yank it out the way. And luckily, I stopped at the roundabout at the bottom of the traffic lights.
Could have been your first and only visit to
I know
to the Chiltern Hills, couldn't it?
But then drove down the Chalfont St Peter bypass, and it was a really weird feeling. It felt like I was coming home, which was really strange for the first time. I'd never been out this way before.
Yeah. But, that's good. So you kind of felt like a homecoming, a spiritual homecoming.
Yeah, it was really
brilliant.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, excellent.
I've heard other people say that they feel very spiritually attached to it. Yeah, Courtney, for example.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Do you
shout out to Courtney? She'll be listening.
Yeah, she does listen to the podcast.
Courtney.
Hello, Courtney.
We're missing you.
We are. We certainly are.
Yes, indeed.
We didn't mention the walking group. Go on, Phil.
Oh, yes, sorry.
So we run every Friday at 11:30. Hour and a half, hour and 3/4, then back for tea and biscuits afterwards. We try and assess. I've got a little checklist of things to do. The first is assess people's walking capabilities, so I don't try and make it so it's not going to be too onerous for anyone. We have some lovely walks, lovely chats. You really get to know people. Yeah, it's well, I like it a lot, but I suppose it should be me that's liking it. It should be the participants. But we get good feedback. Yeah.
A lot of people, it's their entrance into the world of Oasis as well, isn't it? It's quite an easy group to come and get involved with.
But it's also nice to be walking with people that have got local knowledge of the area.
Absolutely.
And what I like about it is you get to visit places that you wouldn't normally see from the road.
Right on your doorstep as well.
And it's, there's different, even like some of the back alleys and things that we go down.
The yards.
Yeah. I find that fascinating.
Shortcuts.
All the shortcuts,
Phil's the king of the shortcut. He knows about these shortcuts around this part of town.
If you're driving by or just through somewhere, you need to take time to smell the flowers, as they say.
And Molly's going on the walk this week, aren't you, Molly? So next week's podcast, you'll be able to report what you did, how it was.
Yeah, I mean, so outside the Broadway shop in the High Street in Chesham.
Yeah,
11:30.
next to the taxi rank opposite
Drop
Boots. 11:30. Don't need to book in advance. Just turn up, and Phil will ably lead you around.
Chesham is ideal for walking because it's quite constricted by the valley, so you can quite easily get into, virgin territories.
Easily. Yeah, very easily.
Hardly any distance.
Number 7 on our list, Roald Dahl Museum and Story Centre in Missenden.
In Great Missenden.
Yeah, located in Great Missenden, this museum celebrates the life and works of the beloved children's author Roald Dahl. It's a family-friendly destination with interactive exhibits. Now, before we go on here, I should tell you that my grandmother always used to tell me that I was related to Roald Dahl.
Oh, really?
And I've done my family tree and stuff, and I think from tracking it back, we've got some relatives in Norway, and I believe that's where Roald Dahl came from.
Yeah, he was Scandinavian.
Yeah, and it always backfired on me at school because people used to come up to me, and at the time, Roald Dahl's granddaughter, Sophie Dahl was a supermodel, right? So when we were like 12 or 13, people used to come up to me and go, "Do you think Sophia Dahl's attractive?" I was like, "It's all right." And she's like, "You think your own cousin's attractive or something?" I thought it was really funny to like try and get me to catch me to say that. I was like, "Yeah." So I don't even know if it's true, but the grandmother that told it to me, she told me lots of stuff which is all often transpired as true. So I've got no reason to believe that it wasn't true, but I haven't come to work out the actual link to Roald Dahl, whether it's through marriage or whatever. But there you go. So enough. I think he used to live in Missenden, didn't he? That's why the museum is in Missenden.
That's right.
Yeah. I've not been to that one either, and I've driven past it, and there's lots of shops and coffee shops and everything in Missenden, all with Roald Dahl links, aren't there? Different names and stuff like that, Matildas and stuff like that. Yeah, so yeah, it's really good. Have you ever been to that museum? Anyone?
I have.
You have? Come on.
No, I haven't been to. I've walked past it. I used to work in Great Missenden at one point.
Exactly. So the amount of time you must have walked past it and never gone in there. It's weird, isn't it?
It's funny that you mentioned your grandma and that, because my grandma used to always take me to that museum. It was her favourite. She loved Roald Dahl. Yeah. And so she took me there so many times when I was growing up, which I loved. So I have a nice memory of her taking me there. Yeah.
Is it like a big sort of museum?
Yeah, it's got quite a lot going on. There's a massive slide in it as well, which I remember was the best part. It's based on all the books. Yeah. You've got a bit of James and the Giant Peach. The Twits. I was going to say that used to be.
BFG.
Yeah, what was my favourite Roald Dahl book? I didn't really like the Twits. Used to freak me out a bit.
Yeah, the scruffy hair and stuff. Yeah,
it's a bit gross. Quite like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Oh, you get to go up in the Great Glass Elevator in the museum. You get to go up the Great Glass Elevator, which is really cool. It's
right on our doorstep, like a couple of towns away. So it's unbelievable that. Again, I've not been to that one. I've only been to the Chiltern Hills one because I live in the Chiltern Hills, but. Another one that I've not been to.
Maybe you should take your nephews
Maybe
there.
I should, yeah.
Especially if they've read some of the Roald Dahl books.
Yeah,
really
I think they do. So you two haven't been to that one. Maybe it's on your to-do list, yeah? As you walk past it all the time, Sonia. Phil doesn't like he's got like much of interest. You interested in Roald Dahl's books?
We went there with Victoria's children.
Yeah, excellent.
So you've been there as well?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Yeah, and you good?
Yes, I mean, probably does help if you know the books. It's quite orientated to the books.
Now, another family link on the next one on the list. So the next one on the list is Hewenden Manor. So my mum and dad actually got married at the church on Hewenden Manor. There's a big church. Yeah, there's a church there, and that's where my mum and dad got married.
I've got a friend that got married there as well.
We often drive past Hewenden Valley, and I've not actually been up to the manor house itself, but so many people have said how really interesting and really cool it is up there. The former house of Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli. Hewenden Manor is a Victorian mansion surrounded by beautiful gardens. Visitors can explore the house and learn all about its history. Anyone ever been to Hewenden Manor?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, what goes on up there?
I didn't feel the warmth quite as much as I did with Waddesdon.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's a different scale, I suppose. Yeah. But they were doing a lot of conservation work on the garden at the time, and I found that interesting to see how they were going to be restoring the gardens and everything.
Is it run by National Trust as well? Yeah,
yeah, it's National Trust.
Excellent.
The kitchen garden's nice there. Is that where you were thinking of, the kitchen garden by the tea shop?
Yes. Oh gosh, and they did the best hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Now, did you have the deluxe hot chocolate? Or
The really thick stuff. Yeah. In fact, it's so thick you couldn't. Do they still do it? Because you've reminded
Helen was
me.
disappointed, but she said by the time she got through the cream, it had gone cold.
Oh, I didn't have cream on mine.
Perhaps you just had the standard.
Well, I don't know. I did ask them what the recipe was, and they said, "Oh no, it comes kind of out of a machine."
Oh, secrecy.
But because they said a lot of people had complained about it because it was so thick. But what I did is I went up and I bought myself some shortbread, and I just dipped my shortbread in the hot chocolate.
Well, that thinned it out a bit.
No, you just dip. You don't drink it.
You don't drink it.
You don't drink it. You dip things in it like you would dunk a bit of shortbread.
I wonder if on the Google reviews anyone's mentioned the chocolate, hot chocolate actually in the manner.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe. Well, dare you go back there in case they don't do it anymore.
Well, I'll be disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. If they don't, Molly's on the way out the door there now, I think.
Yeah, it's a nice tea shop there. It's in the old stables.
Yes, that's right, in the old stables.
So you're actually in an old horse.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's very charming. They do lots of, sort of tours and things like that.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah, another place I've not been.
No, me neither. Never been there.
Worth a look. Might be someone to take if you got a child doing O-level history, because a lot of it, Disraeli was there, the time of the Eastern Question, and all stuff like that, Berlin Conference, which is also doing the partition of Africa. So there's a lot of.
It's interesting as well that so many prime ministers' homes are around it. Obviously, the Chequers is just down the road from us as well.
Yes.
I haven't actually. That might actually be later on the list, but the Chequers
you can't go there.
You get shot when if you go. No. Whenever I drive past, I think if you drive too slow, like, the army will come out and shoot you on your way or something.
There is a footpath.
There is, go right through the land.
There's a sort of camera that's
following you.
It's a lovely house.
I did notice all the security around there, but there was a footpath, like you say, in the corner there. You can get cut across the land, but I'm sure they're watching you every step of the way. I did notice there was a load of barns and stuff in the field next door to it. So I was thinking to myself, I wonder what's in there. But there's jets and machine guns and stuff like that. If anyone ever tries having a terror attack on the Prime Minister,
well, one of the ways. Actually, I'm not going to say that. I might add up for the
Treason's Act. Yeah, don't tell them, Pike.
If you go around there enough, you can see some interesting things.
Oh, right, okay. Don't tell them, Pike.
Yeah.
Molly, have you ever been to Chiltern Manor?
No.
Okay, we'll move swiftly on then. Next one is also very cool. Another one I've not been to.
John, you're going to write a list of
I know.
I've
got lots of places that in the next 10 weeks are sorted, aren't they? The Hellfire Caves in Wickham. An intriguing network of caves and tunnels near High Wycombe, the Hellfire Caves have a fascinating history associated with the notorious Hellfire Club. Guided tours provide insight into their mysterious past. I've seen it mentioned so many times, and they host movies down there, and they have trick-or-treat nights and stuff down there. The Hellfire Caves,
Phil's been pulling faces since you read that, so I'm intrigued what's
going on with the Hellfire Caves, Phil?
Well, they're apparently they're originally done as a job creation scheme by sort of a philanthropic Lord Dashwood. The Dashwoods were the owners, and it's very interesting. All these corridors under the hill, but it may have been upgraded. I haven't been there recently, but they had some really quite ancient-looking sort of mannequins, which really didn't quite do it justice. So you got these
spooky, was it? Or
freaky?
Well, not so much spooky as it's sort of down at the hill, But they may well have done it, but it's very interesting. All the things are named after, like one bit's called the River Styx, and that's where they had pretty notorious.
Molly, would you like to look on your information device about the Hellfire Caves in Wickham and see what it tells us on there?
They've also got a church situated directly above it. It's the one you can see.
The mausoleum,
The mausoleum is very strange.
Yes,
have you been up there?
Yes, I have. I've walked up there.
Yeah.
Is that all the golden balls on top?
Yes.
That is.
Next to
right.
it, it's all part of the same complex.
It's a bit weird walking.
Molly's about to educate us as to the history of it.
The Hellfire Caves is only open Friday, Saturday and Sunday.
Really?
Yeah. And only from 11:30 till 5. There you go. So if you want to go on a...
I was more interested in the history and the founding of them, not the opening hours.
Kids' parties.
Kids' parties are available.
It's not got much information.
No. How are they
all
formed? Do you
amazing.
know how they're formed?
No, they're dug.
Just dug. Just like
they're not natural.
some fella just
Built
dug
in the
them.
17th century, you travel underground deep into the Chiltern Hills. A fantastic day out for all ages. That's not very helpful, is it? I want to know more.
Well, that was the
History.
other.
Here you go. Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, I think he might be the member.
What was it? Yeah, the Hellfire Club that they mentioned then. What was all that
Hellfire.
about?
Yes, they used
Read
to
history, yeah.
sit there. They used to meet there.
Was it like a secret handshake club? Was it something like that?
Yeah, no, I think it was pretty debauched.
Oh, it's debauched was it? Oh dear.
The golden dome on the top of the church was meant to be where you could get up shenanigans, but that'd be the last place I want to get up shenanigans.
Well, you're not allowed up there anymore because it's a death trap, isn't it?
Fell off.
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was a little boy, you used to be able to go up there, but now
Occasionally
they've
they
stopped you
open
now,
the
haven't they?
chimney, the tower.
Yeah.
It's an open cast quarry. Oh, quarry for mining chalk. So that's how.
Oh wow! So it was dug out to get the chalk.
Yeah.
I wonder if you've ever drawn on a piece of chalk from the Hellfire Caves at school.
Provide material for the new main road between West Wickham and High Wycombe. That's
Yeah, well,
that's
that
one of
would
the
fit.
reasons they were digging
Yeah, that's
for
where
it.
the West Wickham Ball, they call it, don't they? The Golden Ball. That's another name for it, the West Wickham Ball. So that would make sense. I love that. Incidentally, I love that drive going from Wickham through
It's
West
lovely,
Wickham
isn't it?
towards
Yeah.
Risborough. It's a beautiful drive if you ever go through it through the valley down there. It's one of my favourite drives. Every time I'm there, I feel like you said about being at home. I feel like all my family come from around there, so it's a lovely drive.
And you know now where it was formed.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Next one, I've not heard of this one. You might be able to educate me, folks. Stowe House and Gardens. Stowe House, which is Stowe. Stowe House is a magnificent 18th century mansion surrounded by landscaped gardens and lakes. The gardens are known for their beauty and are open to the public. Anyone ever heard of Stowe House and Gardens?
I think they're a Capability Brown.
I think they
thing.
are.
It's a national trust.
Yeah,
Capability
it's a
Brown, is that like
yeah.
a rapper or something?
Have you never heard of Capability
Oh my-
Brown?
No, what's Capability Brown? Educate me and the listeners.
Oh, he had a style all of his own. It was a very new style of natural landscaping the landscape to look even more natural than it kind of was, because people were doing a lot of stylized things. Like a lot of people people who had a lot of money and had a lot of land, they were kind of doing the French route. Everybody thought they had to have statues and all kinds of paraphernalia, and he wanted to go back to the more natural look.
Well, I can see
things.
it in here. It looks like something a cross between the Mall and Buckingham Palace. It's a beautiful building.
It's amazing. I'm just looking at photos now. It looks incredible. I've never
Where
even
is
heard
it?
of it.
There's a school there now.
Where is Stowe? Is it out of town? Is it? I
liberal
never.
school. It's near Buckingham.
Oh, okay. So north of the county.
You know why they called him Capability?
I don't know
Because he was capable.
Yeah, probably.
Well, yeah, it's because he used slightly the wrong word, but they'd take him round their old Elizabethan garden. He'd say, "Oh, yeah, I could make this much better. I see great capability here."
Oh,
He
you
shows
should call him
the potential.
Capability Brown.
Yeah.
Capability Brown. He does sound like a pimp from New York City in the 1800s, doesn't he? Like Capability Brown, like a film or something, like Quentin Tarantino film.
There's lots of grottos and statues and knick-knacky places there.
Yeah.
I think the National Trust hires out some of those for holiday lets.
Yeah, as you say, a lot of these places are run by the National Trust.
Yeah.
So that's part of the problem why a lot of people don't actually go to visit them, because it's so expensive to
Well,
get
Phil
in.
was saying before, which we never realised, that quite often as a retirement present, people will gift you a membership to the National Trust and stuff. I
That's a
never
nice
realised
thing
that.
to do.
Yeah.
Or I know somebody that was given it as a wedding present,
Yeah.
which I think is a lovely
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah, it's a really nice.
It's a really nice gift to give people if they've got like a lifetime joint
Or a
membership.
lifetime membership.
Yeah, nice time.
Wow.
Yeah, life
costly, innit?
membership. Yeah. I have to say, I am actually a member of the National Trust.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I go to Cliveden or Cliveden. Or however, how
Well,
it's
in a
pronounced,
seamless link, Sonia,
Oh,
guess
is that-
what's next?
is that on the
Cliveden
list?
House.
What are
Cliveden
we
House.
on?
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't say. It's not in numbers. But Cliveden House is set in a stunning estate. It's a historic mansion known for its gardens and river views.
You
It
must
has a
have
rich
been there,
history
John.
and has hosted many notable figures over the years. Is it in Buckinghamshire?
You
No.
haven't been
No,
there, have
I've
you?
not been there. No, I've not been there. No, also.
No, it's
There is a
classified as
castle kind of
Berkshire.
place in in
Yeah.
Berkhamsted, isn't there?
It's
You've
kind
got
of Windsor
Berkhamsted
way.
Castle, and then there's like a manor house up further up the.
Yeah.
No, where is it? Sorry.
It's kind of Windsor way. Well,
Okay.
it's sort of Maidenhead, sort
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Windsor
Okay.
way. And it actually overlooks the Thames.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's but that's quite a long way
What's
down in
the
the valley.
hot chocolate like there? Is it any?
I don't know.
Is that how you
I don't know.
review
Yeah.
something? Is it how good their
No,
chocolate is?
I like to go there because they've actually got a water garden.
Oh,
there,
beautiful.
Which is kind of
Oh,
one of
yes.
the most recent installations.
Yes, the Oriental Water Garden.
That's
That is
right.
lovely.
And that's not the only thing is last time I
Lots
went.
of lilies
it
and
was-
stuff, is it? Like
it was
floating
full
lilies.
of digging equipment
Oh, no.
and materials and things.
Did you stick a
But-
biscuit in there and dunk? No? No.
I did have a hot chocolate though.
You did.
It
Again,
was in
there's a
January.
theme here, isn't there?
Yeah.
Just going tours of national
They've
trust
installed
places.
quite a good maze there as well. Was that there?
Yes, I haven't
Yeah.
actually been
Oh, that's
through
worth
it.
a go.
Ah.
But, yeah.
Get
Molly, have you
lost.
ever been to the maze at Cliveden?
I've never
House?
been.
Oh, you
At
should
all.
go. It's
No?
fantastic.
Okay. Good
The-
recommendation.
The grounds. There's not much of the house because it's actually a hotel. It's
Okay.
a proper.
Very small about the
Yeah,
house. You can see.
yeah. It's really the grounds that
Yeah.
you want to walk around because you can go right the way down to the river.
Can you get married there?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Probably.
Fancy it? Should we go and get married? Yeah, we'll go.
I think you need
Check it out.
Fairly big bank.
Yeah, I should imagine.
It's
It was
really-
actually Cliveden was the place that Meghan Markle spent the night with her mother the night before she got married.
Yeah, yeah.
Where did
It
they get
was-
married in this country?
yes.
Did they have a proper wedding and
Big
stuff, did
wedding,
they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it sounds nice. It does sound really nice.
Clifton. So the name is from cliff.
Well, because they are. They're actually
They are
on
on
a.
cliffs.
They are on a
Yeah.
cliff
Yeah,
because it
pretty
drops
deep.
Not Cliff
drops
Richard.
away.
I don't think so.
That
Cliffy
is the
Byron.
downside because the house and where the car park is perched on top of the hill. If
Yeah.
you do walk down to the river, you've got a long climb back
Really?
up
Give
again.
you appetite for your hot chocolate.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Would
Could you
do.
fall off? Or was it?
Oh yeah, sort of. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you'd have to be going some, but some of it is
Oh,
very
wow.
steep.
Yeah, some of it
Oh,
can
dear.
be. But there's certainly, there's plenty to walk around and see, look at the views and things.
Yeah.
They've got Rose Garden there as well.
What? So
Yeah.
they got water gardens, rose gardens.
Have they got?
Steps down, they got what a big wild area. Big
Yes.
wild area.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I
Wildlings.
don't think they've got an aviary there. That's
There's no aviary.
no.
Birdery.
No.
Get it right.
They got that nice little formal garden with the stone baboons in there. Quite nice.
Sounds like a summer time to visit there, doesn't it? Or was it quite
Well, the
nice
thing
in
about,
autumn and
I don't know with
spring
these
as well?
places. I think I think they're worth a visit all year
Yeah,
round
to
because
see
there's
the different
always something
seasons.
to see.
Different.
There's always something nice to
I'll
see.
make you about right. That's a good point. Well made, Sonia.
But yeah, the big thing there, its big selling point is its connection with the Perfumo scandal.
Oh gosh, yes, of course, yes.
Tell them about
I
it.
don't know the full story.
She was involved in it.
That's why she can't talk about
Yeah,
it.
she can't talk about it. It's like
was her name Keela?
were Torval and Dean
Yeah.
involved as well?
Yeah,
Is that what it
Keela.
was, Sonia? Torval and Dean were linked to it. Well, that's why you can't talk
No,
about that.
No.
Phil, do you want to educate?
Those
of us that are less educated.
It revolves around a minister in the government who was defence minister.
Yeah.
And there were notoriously high society parties at Clifton.
Yeah.
It turned out when he was Minister of Defence, he was sleeping with someone who was also sleeping with the Russian attaché at
Yeah.
the Soviet embassy, who was a spy.
Yeah.
So there was all sorts
Oh, no.
of.
I hope he didn't talk in his sleep.
There's a film on it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, yeah.
About the swimming pool. You know where the swimming pool is? Just below the clock tower there.
Sonia's looking
I
blankly.
know.
Anyway,
If it's, I don't know. I don't remember seeing the swimming pool.
Well,
Maybe
no,
that
you
was
won't.
it
It's
was
all
it's
walled off,
cold.
but you can
Yeah,
see where it
exactly.
is.
Yeah.
but they got up to all sorts of,
Nefarious
skinny dipping
activities,
there, which they thought was totally secret, but apparently all the servants used to get on soapboxes and look over the wall and so forth.
Wow.
It's all it's all a bit. There's been a film on it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure there would have been. There should have been, yeah. Next on our list, I don't think there's ever been a film about this. Wendover Woods.
Oh, Wendover Woods is
A
lovely.
large forest area with walking and cycling trails, Wendover Woods is perfect for outdoor activities. It offers panoramic views of the surrounding countryside. They've also got a Gruffalo trail there, haven't they? The
It's
Gruffalo
lovely.
trail.
Gruffalo
Wendover Woods
trail's
is really
good.
nice.
Yeah.
It's got good for kids as well because it's got a massive playground.
Yeah.
really nice.
Oh, they've got a big Go Ape there. Yeah,
that's it. Go Ape as well, and they've got lots of picnic areas, and you can sort of little areas in the woods where you can go and have picnics and stuff.
Very expensive to park there.
It is.
That would be my
That's the entrance fee in effect.
Yeah, which people don't mind paying, but you kind of think of going to the woods as a day out as being kind of a cheap thing, and then you end up spending quite a bit on the parking. I think it's like £6-7 for parking.
It is. It's not cheap.
It's similar to Burnham Beach, isn't it? I'm not sure if Burnham's class has been in Buckside. I'm sure it is actually.
Burnham? Just about,
yeah. Burnham Beach is not on the list here, but
Slough,
but Burnham Beach is also similar to Wendover Woods.
Very nice, covered metal paths if you're on a wheelchair or something.
Yeah, I've been to a few barbecues and parties at Wendover Woods. My nephews and niece go there quite a lot with walking the dogs and whatnot's really popular with our family. So that is actually one I've been to.
Yay,
Wendover Woods, I've finally done one. And in a seamless link, the next one is where I live. Look, Amersham Old Town. I've made the list.
You live in Amersham Old Town?
I used to. Shh, don't tell anyone. So that's on the list, Amersham Old Town. So this charming market town has a well-preserved medieval and Georgian architecture. Visitors can stroll through its quaint streets, explore local shops and enjoy the historic atmosphere. Wow, there you go. Old Amersham's on there. So there's a picture of the Memorial Gardens.
There's a nice museum there.
I've actually been punched in those Memorial Gardens. I think I told the story the other day on the podcast, didn't I? That one of the only times in my life I've been punched was in those Memorial Gardens after the Amersham Fair one time.
Yes.
I was leaving and someone punched me.
What, randomly?
Yeah. We were just sitting in the Memorial Gardens and there's some like little benches that you can sit in and a group of youths came and they were like, get out, we want to sit here. So we were like, yeah, fair enough. Just got up and moved basically. And then looked around and these kids were chasing us. And there was me, 2 boys and 2 girls. The other boy and the girl ran off and I was running off and then this girl was dragging back a bit and then they grabbed her and they dragged her down. They were whacking her with a bottle and stuff. And I went back to, because the other 2 had fled, they were around the corner. I went back to say, "Oi, leave her alone. What are you doing that?" So I was kind of sort of protecting her and then someone punched me from the side.
Oh dear.
And I was like feeling my nose going, I'd broken my nose. I was worried that my nose would be broken. There's blood everywhere and stuff like that. And to this day, the girl doesn't talk to me, even though I went back and all her other mates fled and left her there, and I stayed and protected her. And I guess it's out of embarrassment or something, but I went back and made sure she didn't get beaten up more severely. And to this day, she doesn't really talk to me anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I know, yeah. And I got punched for her.
Oh.
I took a bullet for her.
Yeah.
Pretty much, didn't I?
Do you have black eye?
Stood over her. I did, yeah. And that's why I've got, that's probably too much information for a podcast, but a deviated septum where I got punched that day. So to this day, I suffer daily with the fact that I got punched for this girl who doesn't even talk to me anymore.
You should tell her that.
I know, I should. If you can hear, I'm not going to mention her name on there, but it's like a Vietnam flashback feel. Look at seeing the Memorial Gardens on that photo on my screen there, where I got punched that time. But yeah, Amersham Old Town, yeah, it's beautiful. I'm sure we've all been to Amersham Old Town before, even Molly, yeah?
Yeah, just once.
Just the once, is that? You've only been the once?
Yeah.
Which particular part did you visit?
Can't remember.
No?
No. Sorry, I'm not a...
It wasn't
not
that
a
memorable,
Cheshamite.
no? It wasn't that memorable. I think that's the last one, it is. It's number 10 on the list. So,
and of course, the thing to remember about Amersham and also places like Beaconsfield as well is they close the road off for their annual fair they have.
The charter fair as
Their
well.
charter
And if
fair.
they miss 1 year, they lose their licence. It was a licence that was granted in, a long time ago, like in the 1000s or something like. And it's a charter fair that the king, so they can come back every year as long as they come back every year, they can have a licence. So as much as the licensing authorities don't want them there every year, as long as they keep coming back every year, they're entitled to their licence, and it renews automatically. But if they miss a year, they're out on the rear. So yeah, the charter fair. Molly, would you like to look up the Amersham Charter Fair and give us some background information on the Amersham Charter Fair? Mate, I don't like giving up incorrect dates there. And who was it that granted them the ability to come back every year? It was under the King's order. I know that much.
Charter Fair.
Amersham Charter Fair.
It was established on the days of the Vigil and the Feast of the Nativity of the Blessed Mary, September 7th and 8th.
That's right. It's in September every year. They have to come back on the same 2 dates, otherwise they're not allowed back again. And Beaconsfield's the same, is it, Sonia?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's fascinating how they close all the roads off.
Yeah, there's a background to it. Any background information there, Molly?
Fairground rides.
That's who granted them the ability to come back over here. It's a royal charter.
It used to be a 2-day fair.
Still is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's now September the 18th and 19th.
That's it.
Not sure. Sorry. Not getting the good information
Let me
here.
use my device.
It'll be about 1200. King John, it'd be that sort of period.
In the year AD 1200, King John granted a charter for a weekly market and an annual fair, which established the town as we know it today. There you go. The history of Amersham.
It wasn't actually on in 2022 because Queen Elizabeth died a couple of days before. There
you go.
That's interesting.
King John, there you go. My namesake. King John granted a fair in his heirs in 1200 and 1201. Wow. So there's been a fair on Old Amersham High Street in that position since...
What a legacy.
Yeah, all that time ago. That's probably why it's such a famous... It's got links to the Battle of the Roundheads and the Cavaliers as well, isn't it? Because Oliver Cromwell famously stayed at, I believe, it was Chardelot's house the day before a big battle.
They also stayed at Stone Meadow.
And
in the village,
the Griffin, what used to be the Griffin pub, I don't know what it's called now.
Yeah.
And they I think Oliver Cromwell stayed there. Yeah. So it's got roots throughout English history. Old Amersham, Agmondsham, as it was called in those days, Agmondsham, and then Amersham on the hill was where the train station was put. They didn't want to put it through the valley, so they put it up on top of the hill. And then today's town, as you know it, sprung up around the train station on top of the hill there, so that's why it's called Amersham on the Hill.
Didn't know
as opposed to Old Amersham. Yeah, if you notice all the maps and everything, it's called Amersham on the Hill, which is where the train station is. There we go. The history of Amersham at the end there. I probably paraphrased it badly, but
well, the urban myth is that the Lord of the Manor of Chardelot has refused to allow it to come through unless it was out of sight of his. And if you look from Chardelot's, you cannot see the old railway. You can see HS2,
yeah.
but
there's a reason why.
Yeah.
Also, the burial site, Amersham, of the last person to be hung in the UK. I don't know why she was. I think she lived in Missenden or somewhere. Yeah,
certainly didn't know that.
Her grave is in one of the churchyard. Yeah. I can't remember her name though. I probably should know it. Ruth Ellis. There you go. Ruth Ellis was buried in Amersham. Yeah. And there's a memorial of the martyrs as well in there. Have you ever been to that?
Yeah, there is halfway up.
Phil, you know all about that. Would you like to educate us a little bit about that? Because when we go for our walk in Cheshire, there's a step, isn't there, where they hung somebody?
Again, it's the tensions between the Catholics and the Protestants. I think that would be the time of Mary the First, Queen Elizabeth's older sister. There's sort of a lot of Protestants were burned at the stake, and in much gory detail, the monument tells about how the children of the people being burnt were made to light
of their own parents.
Yeah. So it's all very grim stuff.
And it was to do with, was it translating the Bible into?
Not that. No, that was the Lollards.
Okay.
It's the same sort of thing, but this was, what Lollards are saying. Yeah, the Protestantism or whatever, the Reformation religion sort of became the state religion in Henry VIII's time, related to Anne Boleyn and that sort of thing. But then Mary, the Queen Mary, was Catholic, so she tried to retrench it. And there was a lot of
hoo-ha, to put it lightly.
People felt strongly enough about it to
go to wars.
Yes.
Right, we're nearly up, and as our regular listeners will know, we like to finish off the podcast by doing one of our mindfulness questions. We've got a few minutes left. Last week, Molly, we realised that we'd done numbers 1 to 4 out of 99, so we have to choose a number between 4 and 99. I think Jack chose 61 or 63, so someone like to choose another number. Sonia, would like to choose a number?
27.
27, so my favourite number. Well done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's one of those numbers in my life which was recurring, house numbers and people.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you most grateful for in this season of life?
Oh God. Oh, that's
a deep question for a few minutes at the end. That's a whole podcast, isn't it?
That is. What am I grateful for?
One thing, like what were you most grateful for?
I mean,
I don't know.
Phase of your life.
Yeah, I
They
guess
don't
so.
mean
Yeah,
winter or
yeah.
summer.
No. You're Sonia's dumbstruck, dumbfounded,
I'm trying to think.
awestruck.
One thing you're grateful for.
I can't think of.
Well, Molly, would you like to take the question on whilst Sonia thinks?
Can do.
Come on, what are you most grateful for in this season of your life? Yeah, so you jumped in and you haven't got an answer. What immediately pops to your head? When we discussed earlier, we don't want planned answers. We just want one thing that jumps into your head.
Grateful for wonderful friends.
There you go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
friends are very important.
Yes.
Sonia, you thought of one yet?
I'm actually grateful for Oasis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So and I don't mean that as a, deliberate plug
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
Because, I feel like my life is beginning to turn around.
Crikey, that's a massive...
That's a beautiful
Yeah.
sentiment, Sonia. Yeah.
Well
That's
done.
good job of recording this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, last week, Sonia upstaged Phil before he had to say the last word, and now how are you going to follow that, Phil? Again, like last week, 2 weeks running, Sonia's perfectly ended it, hasn't she?
I'm incredibly lucky, much luckier than I deserve. I think in this season of my life, as it were, retirement, you just have the fluidity of health and enough money that I've got incredible amount of freedom to indulge myself in all the different things I wanted to do. I don't think there's anyone in the history of the world I'm trained with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's
What
a
a
nice
perfect
answer.
answer, yeah. We've been the Friends Together
about you, John?
podcast. Do I have to answer
Yeah,
again?
of course you do.
What am I?
Skipping over that.
Yeah, that was nice
What's
and
the
neatly
question
done.
again? I'm just deliberating to buy time here. I don't know how I can top Sonia and Phil's answers, though, to be honest. What am I most grateful for?
I know
Family,
what you're
I guess.
grateful for. And that you're feeling better. Your hip doesn't.
Oh
hurt
yes,
as much.
I had an injury for the last 18 months for football. I play a lot of football.
Long recuperation.
I know.
Someone's
Well, it's my own stupidity, Phil. Because it turns out that I just needed to put in a period of rest, and it'd have been all right. So I went to see a physio, and he said to rest it for 3 weeks. So it was over Christmas. I thought I'd go a whole hog and rest it for a month instead, and it's been absolutely fine ever since. So all I needed to do all that time was to just rest it, have a period of rest. And it's been absolutely fine ever since. So I'm now back to playing football without any pain again. So that's something I'm grateful for.
It's the little things like that, but they actually are a big deal in your life.
Yeah, you take it for
100%.
granted. Yeah.
Absolutely. A few weeks ago, Molly and Jenny called me in and they said, "Oh, we've noticed you're a bit down at the moment. We wonder if anything's wrong." I just said it's because I can't play football at the moment. That was during my 4 weeks of recuperating, where I wasn't allowed to play any sport. I was like, I'm a simple man. I was just a bit down. I couldn't play football because it's
pleasure.
It is, yeah. It's
Your
my
one-
happy place, isn't it? Playing football, like mentally and physically.
Yeah.
It's, like playing football, and it just they'd noticed that I was a bit flat because I couldn't play football for 2 or 3 weeks.
It does impact your life.
Doesn't it just? Yes. We've been the Friends Together podcast. This has been episode 4. Another interesting array of topics covered, and hopefully interesting for the listeners. So if you'd like to say goodbye, I'll go around clockwise. Molly,
Bye.
Sonia,
Bye-bye.
Phil,
Goodbye.
and myself. Goodbye, everybody. Speak to you next time.
The Let's Be Frank podcast is brought to you by the Oasis Partnership, a charity providing high-quality social and psychological support services to improve people's mental health and well-being. We deliver socially inclusive, open-access support for the wider communities of Buckinghamshire through pioneering and innovative partnerships and initiatives. Oasis provides free and subsidised health and wellbeing classes and support groups for the Chiltern area, including mindfulness, yoga, fitness, art and music. Oasis also helps support people to reach their full potential through our substance misuse treatment service, Routes to Work and outreach service. The Oasis Substance Misuse Treatment Service is provided in partnership with Inclusion, part of Midlands Partnership NHS Foundation Trust, delivering 1 recovery bucks. The Let's Be Frank podcast was launched in tribute to the memory of long-term Oasis patron and world-renowned cinematographer Frank Hodge, and is recorded in the Frank Hodge Podcast Studio, our new community podcasting facility launched in his honour.